Hey guys, welcome back. We have a new week of astrology to get into, and this one is another big one, but this week is really kind of where all things have been leading over this past couple of years. Some monumental moments coming into play this week. Divine intervention could be a theme, sudden change could be a theme, things sort of switching on a dime and opening up somehow. Good news, opportunities, positive, like forward thinking. The future outlook could suddenly be looking a bit more bright as we move through the energy of this week. We have Pluto leaving the sign of Capricorn, entering the sign of Aquarius formally for the next 20 years. There's no more retrograding back into Capricorn. We are truly getting this Pluto Aquarius transit kicked off as of Tuesday this week, and that is really just going to bring probably some type of palpable shift from now going forward throughout the course of this next 20 years. While Pluto transits Aquarius, things are going to be done differently, and we're going to be talking about this a lot over the coming days and the coming videos. We have a lot playing out though as we open our week this week. We have Jupiter and Mercury in a mutual reception and an opposition. This is uplifting things. This is bringing some maybe good opportunities or good news, expanding our minds somehow. The Sun and Uranus are in an opposition. Things are changing. Mars and the North Node are also in a fire sign trine. I'm telling you guys, like divine intervention, divine alignment, fated actions happening and taking place right now. And of course, we have Pluto entering the sign of Aquarius on Tuesday. Just making this a very powerfully transformative week, but I do think in the right direction. So all of that being said, we have a report to get into. Let us go ahead and do that. Let's look at everything that we've got going on to open our week this week, that we are moving into as we move through the week, and try to get an idea of what things might look like as we begin to move through this energy. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, November 18th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me till the end of this report, I have done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field for more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy overviews, just to get an alternative energetic perspective on what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you. We are going to do that at the end. We're going to start at the top with the astrology. This is a big one, you guys. I know we've had a lot of big astrology play out this year, and especially lately I've been like, it's a big week, there's a lot going on, there's a lot happening. It's because there has been. I mean, you may have noticed in your personal lives or in terms of things playing out on the world stage this past summer and this fall, there's just been a lot of intensity, a lot of big things happening, and as a result, or maybe those things have been happening as a result of these important and significant transits and alignments that have been happening and playing out as well. And I do think though, all of that essentially has been really building towards and leading into, all roads leading to where we are arriving today on, well, not today, this week, I should say, tomorrow on November 19th, when Pluto formally leaves the sign of Capricorn, where he's been for the past 16 years since 2008, and enters the sign of Aquarius, where he will be for the next like 20 years. So this is a generational shift that we've got going on this week, which means this is kind of like a relatively monumental moment in astrological terms, and it's being, that like notion right there is being quite validated by the positioning that we have going on in terms of the other planets as well. Like, not only do we have Pluto shifting signs, which only happens every like 15 to 20 years or so, so of course that is going to be a more significant period of time when that is taking place, which this is the week that that is taking place, but we also have an exact Mars North Node trine happening this week. Mars is what's happening. This is our behavior and our action, and Mars represents like energy itself. And the North Node, this is the destiny point, the next phase of growth, evolution, where we're sort of being compulsively pulled, like, because that's just fate or destiny or what needs to happen next, in a trine together in fire signs. Trines facilitate things. When we have trines playing out, I always feel like it's like universe making things fall into place, like helping things to happen, supporting us. We don't really have to do anything for things to sort of work out or just like happen. We have trines operating, and the fact that we have Mars In the sign of Leo, also in a mutual reception with the sun in Scorpio, that's also significant playing into this. The sun is in an opposition to Uranus, who's ruling Aquarius, where Pluto is moving. There's all these connections going on we'll talk about as we get through the report. But Mars in a trine to the North Node, while like literally the same week in fire signs also, that's like, you know, igniting the spirit, and it's very motivated and passionate and courageous. And also, the North Node is in Aries right now, which is the sign ruled by Mars. So these actions are fated, okay? The things that are happening right now are in some type of divine alignment. There is a divine intervention that is coming into play with everything that's happening this week. We also have a Mercury-Jupiter opposition that is talking about, you know, perhaps, I mean, Mercury's the mind, okay? It's what we're thinking about, it's our conversations, it's information, it's what we're learning, but it also has to do with transactions and deals and things going back and forth. And it has to do with trips, and it can represent travel. Mercury and Jupiter are in a mutual reception right now. Jupiter is in Gemini, the sign of Mercury, and Mercury is in Sagittarius, the sign of Jupiter. This is going to bring some type of upliftment. Like, it's going to raise our spirits. There's going to be optimism, there's going to be hope, also the potential for good choices, good decisions, good or big opportunities, good or big like deals that could be going on. Something positive is coming from the changes that are happening now, and it's being indicated. These are blessed changes. Mercury is also a planetary energy that can represent change because it moves so quickly and things go back and forth very fast, and it can be choices and decisions and options. So there are a lot of things that could be presenting themselves this week, but it's like the opportunities that are coming now, we're on the verge of some type of breakthrough. Things are about to open up. Things that perhaps we've been struggling with or struggling to build or grow or move towards or become or align with for maybe, or just like dealing with for maybe the past 16 years. Maybe we've been in some type of karmic struggle. I don't know, something weighing heavy on us. There's likely to be a sense of like a burden being lifted off of our shoulders. Like we can breathe easier, something opening up, but something transitioning, shifting, or changing coming this week. And if it is not this week, then there will be something that happens this week that acts as some type of catalyst for that to happen in the future. But I'm telling you guys, like, things are not going to be the same going forward, especially if there seemed to be some type of like extra struggle or extra repressive force or extra everything stacked against you, or like extra like make it or break it. Like, am I going to be able to do it? What's going to happen over this past couple of months, September through now? This is when, again, like that burden is likely to be lifted as well. We're probably going to gain some clarity. Things are going to open up, opportunities, choices, options, change, but in the right direction and in a way that actually like makes the future look brighter somehow. So we have a Sun-Uranus opposition this week telling us that things are unpredictable, things are up in the air, things are switching on a dime, sudden change, shocks, surprises, tower moment. But we've got a mutual reception with Mercury and Jupiter, Gemini, Sagittarius. These changes are for the best. This is the right thing at the right time. Mars in a trine to the North Node. The things that are happening now are meant to be to get us to the next phase of growth. This is ultimately about some type of growth mindset or personal expansion or like renewal somehow that's going on within us, or some type of shedding of some type of karmic burden or like old skin or something that was detaching us from this next phase of growth we're going through. But it really is like this week and moving forward, sort of like clean slate, like a new lesson plan. We are moving into a new era of our lives and experiences. This is on some levels, you know, very much like a subconscious rebirth. Like Pluto is the planet that rules death and rebirth. We also have a Scorpio sun right now, Mars and the sun in a mutual reception. Mars also being a ruler of Scorpio. The scorpionic vibes and themes are super thick and super powerful, but in the context of this Uranian energy as well, and this air sign energy that we're moving into, and also this like solar energy, Mars on the sign of the sun. It could be very chaotic. Yeah, you know, things could be real shaky, real crazy, real wild times out there. But ultimately, some type of powerful or expansive awakening that is translating into some type of collective rebirth beginning now, may not be noticed now, but things happening now are going to like snowball into this sentiment, into this like idea over this next 20 years. This will be a 20-year process that begins to unfold now, and it's drastically, radically going to change the nature of all reality, because Aquarius is a sign that represents change. It's ruled by Saturn and it's ruled by Uranus. It's about not finishing the way that it starts, okay? It's about perhaps like needing to learn how to use the Saturnian qualities to free ourselves from something. It's learning how to free ourselves from some type of limitation or some type of box or some type of thing that is like overly restrictive and blocking our like ability to achieve or reach a destiny. Aquarius, Uranus, to me, a lot of times, I mean, this is an energy, it's the galactic fixer. Uranus puts things right. The changes that we haven't been able to make for ourselves, this is what the planet Uranus a lot of times does for us. It has, in my opinion, a lot to do with facilitating a future plan or a higher destiny to come to pass when we've gotten too far out of alignment with the way that that energy needs to progress and evolve. So it's like if we are, you know, if there's a certain soul path or soul lesson that we need to gain in this lifetime, and for whatever reason we are veering off course, this is when the Uranian energy comes in and makes the things happen around us that need to happen to like get us back in alignment with whatever that course, that destiny, that higher plan needs to unfold in alignment with. Like Uranus and Aquarius has a lot to do with the future. It has a lot to do with prophecy. It has a lot to do with the path and the process by which that future and prophecy will come to pass. But in order to get there, it's like we have to learn these lessons. We have to expand our mind. We have to like this process of self-actualization, you know, Saturn. This is also the teacher and the disciplinarian, learning how to use self-discipline to come to a point of self-actualization that actually frees us from the limitations of the represented through the lower octave Saturnian energy. So it's like where we overcome our lower nature and lower tendencies, and through that process are liberated to be more aligned with like a higher purpose, okay, or a higher potential. Uranus has been transiting through the past, coming up on 7 years here now, through the sign of Taurus. This also has a lot to do with kind of like helping us to rediscover and unlock the hidden or latent talent and potential and resources within, awaken us to the truth essentially like of our own deeper nature, inner nature, and what we can do with that, what we can cultivate that, translated, manifest outward to enjoy some type of comfort or stability or bring beauty into the world. What can we build with what we inherently have inside? And in the Uranian Aquarian context, this is another lesson that we have going on right now. Once we figure out what that is, how can we use it to contribute to the greater good? Like how can that specific thing fill a void in the overall whole, which not only like feeds and serves ourselves, but also the greater collective at large? That is another major theme that we're going to be talking about, discovering, learning about, working through as we move through this next 20 years, which actually is transitioning us into a greater 2000-year Aquarian age. So this Aquarius energy is the trend, like this is what we're trending into, this is what we're moving into, and it's going to be here for a long time. We are just at the beginning of it, but as we get started in this 2000-year age of Aquarius, we've got this like 20-year very condensed period of the Aquarian energy that I feel is helping to kind of like anchor these frequencies to the planet so that they can grow and unfold over this period of time moving forward. Okay, and this week we are kicking this process off. Things are not going to be the same anymore. It's out with the old, in with the new, and literally again, like everything is representing that here with the sun opposite Uranus. That is also talking about these awakenings, these changes, and it's that Uranian energy, which has to do with the future, what we're breaking through into, where we're going. Even the North Node right now is a square brightly lighted on one side, which really reminds me of the Aquarius energy and dynamic. It's like, yes, we have the Saturnian influence and there is a limitation, like we may feel blocked in, and there's this desire to kind of like find a way out, to escape from the box, to go against the norm, to go against the tradition. We see that a lot with the Aquarian energy, but really it's because there's this like inherent need to learn the lessons of the past, learn the wisdom of the past and that tradition, but also be able to like take it to the next level, like evolve it in some type of a way and use it to enhance the overall potential of the life experience. Actually, I feel like there is sort of like an alchemical energy that runs through the Aquarius as well via this process of self-actualization that goes on as we learn to kind of like overcome our own limitations through this sense of self-discipline represented through Saturn, and free ourselves through this phase of self-actualization that is birthed through the self-discipline that we learned through the lessons earlier. And that's also why a lot of times a lot of like baby Aquarius energy, it's like the rebel and like gotta be against the grain all the time, because it's always like if it's out of balance, there can be too much of the future oriented energy without the wisdom of how to like apply that properly to be constructive and to like make it meaningful, you know what I mean? So, and we'll be talking so much about Aquarius and all of its quirks and ways and means over this next ongoing period of time. But I guess just as we're getting started today, there's just some things that just might help it all make a little bit more sense. But it's going to be, in true Aquarian fashion, a probably quite rare and unique week. Again, we don't have a generational shift happening, you know, every day in astrology. This only happens every 15 to 20 years or so. We have sort of been flirting with this energy over the past year. Pluto did baby step into Aquarius. I think it was in March of 2023, and then in January, this past January of 2023, entered Aquarius, where he stayed until September. He retrograded back into Capricorn, and this past 2 months through September, well, I guess maybe, you know, 2.5 months, September, October, and November, up to where we are right now with Pluto about to re-enter the sign of Aquarius, the pressure has been on, you guys. Like, if you, like, again, I said, if you have felt like under the gun, like you can't catch a break, you don't know what's going on, you don't know if you're gonna make it, like what the heck is happening, and like everything might just crumble at any minute, that retrograde of Pluto through those last couple of degree minutes stationing and coming back, like to prepare to re-enter Aquarius, that has been, I feel like, sort of like the last final packing the punch of this entire generation's worth, this entire 16 years worth of Pluto Capricorn energy, like really just coming to a forefront, being condensed right there. And you could be, you know, if you've been around for a little while, there could be things that were very relevant in 2008 that are for some reason very relevant again now, but more so in like a conclusionary way, like coming to the end, like, or like the turning of a page or the second chapter or just something like along those lines. But things that began in 2008 are coming to a conclusion right now. The way that the energy has been, the undercurrents, and again, where the power has been held, how power has most successfully manifested and operated and manifested itself, that is not going to be the same anymore. We're going to see a move away from big government, big business, big finance, big corporations, like big pharma, everything, like all the bigs where power has been held in the hands of the few. And it's been very hierarchical in its nature. This will not be the business model that is supported to power reality going forward. And as a result of that, we're going to see a lot of these hierarchies that have been established and all of these like bigs along those lines begin to be either reestablished, to crumble, to be reformed, to be reabsorbed. Like there's going to be major changes along those lines. So be prepared for that. Like it's just going to come. this energy is going to decentralize power. That's what this will do. Aquarius is a very decentralized sign, okay? And Capricorn is the most centralized sign. So we are going from a dynamic where power has been held very like tightly among very few to an energy dynamic where actually, because of the way that our mind is shifting collectively, because of what we're learning and the information that we are gaining access to, it's going to have this self-empowering effect that is going to decentralize power and again assist humanity to go through this phase of self-actualization, where instead of, I use this like example all the time, it just makes so much sense to me in the way that this transition, like what this shift is like. It's like we're going from a situation where there was one light bulb overhead that was illuminating everything for everybody. Now we're going to like a system or a way of living where we're generating our own energy instead of being dependent on that overhead light source. Instead, we're going to become like the generators of our own individual lights, and the collective will be illuminated as a result of that, instead of the collective being illuminated through one overhead power source. Like, that is the best metaphor I can think of to explain the way that these power dynamics are going to shift as we move forth now through this next 20 years. Okay, so big time emphasis on things changing, I think it's safe to say, as we move through this week because of the Sun-Uranus opposition happening as well. And also, I mean, Pluto moving into Aquarius. This is the shocks and surprises and sudden change. These are going to be changes that we could never have anticipated, never have expected. Also, do not like X out the opportunity for like Hail Mary moments, miracles. That Mercury Jupiter mutual reception opposition, I freaking love that right now. I love that for us. That is like random blessings, strokes of luck, good fortune, like that energy right there, especially being in Sag, like being in that mutual reception. Unlimited possibilities for like sudden unexpected miracles. So as much as things may seem sort of just like crazy right now and chaotic and all over the place and super shaky, we don't want to count out divine intervention and God and faith. Jupiter also has to do with faith and trust in a higher power and a divine wisdom. Okay, like it's all there for us. And this is a transition that is trying to put us in a better place, and we need to bank on that. So there should be some good news, growth, positive expansion that comes in some way throughout the course of this week. Things should feel like they are moving in the right direction. Finally, perhaps a breakthrough. Or again, if I'm saying all this and you're like, oh my God, but I still haven't seen anything, everything's still the same. Trust me, I promise you, something small has changed that is going to turn into some gateway or some pathway to some more fundamental change moving forward. It's either big changes happening or catalysts to change happening that will show themselves to be significant changes as time goes on. But there is a much greater likelihood than there has been in a while this week for something transitional or transformational about the week, or generally just very different, out of the ordinary, bizarre, weird. You may just find yourself at the end of the week like scratching your head being like, what did I just live through? What the heck just happened? But again, like how things start this week are likely not how they finish. And I don't even know what to say about it, because Uranus is just such like, and Aquarius is such like an unpredictable energy. Like, expect the unexpected. There literally could just be some wild stuff happening that you're like, whoa, never would have pegged that one, or never would have called that, or like suspected that was gonna happen, but okay, like I'll go with it. So I don't know, you guys, unexpected changes that are ultimately liberating or empowering somehow, but that could also feel like all over the place. Another thing about this energy, it is like lightning speed. This is a hyper dynamic energy that we've got going on right now. I mean, we've got the Mars and Rahu, Mars and North Node trine. North Node is like this compulsive energy forward in the sign of Aries that's like pulling us in a direction, and Mars and Leo. This is also, I mean, Leo is a fixed sign, so there's a chance there could be a little bit of like stubbornness or hard-headedness or a willfulness, but we've got the willpower to put behind whatever we're passionate in pursuing this week. We've got the energy. This is like energy that is fast-paced, that is strong, that is courageous, that is like up for the challenge, you know what I mean, and willing to charge ahead. Uranus and the sun. Uranus is the lightning planet. This is lightning speed. This is things happening in a split second. Mercury, this is the fastest moving planet next to the moon. Mercury rules speed and things going back and forth, opposite Jupiter in the sign of Sagittarius, which expands things. This is really fast. This is like, and it's a lot, like it's a lot happening. Mercury and Jupiter, this is going to bring a lot happening at once. This is an extremely busy energy, you guys. So all of the alignments that we have going on in correspondence with the Pluto transition into the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, which is also a fast-paced energy. Things are going to happen fast. This is also, I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense that like we would be kind of like correlating like the space age sort of to Pluto's transit into the sign of Aquarius, because this is like power happening, like you would think, you know, like lightning fast through the air. This is going to fuel like spaceships and stuff like that, like power space travel. And we're going to see that. I'm telling you guys, we are going to see that over the next 20 years. There's going to be a huge like boom or innovation in terms of expanding outside of our, like out into the cosmos, okay, and like space travel and space, like the vehicles and scientific invention revolution and stuff like that. It's going to be super crazy the way that the power Pluto, like what is powering things, operates in the air, in the ether, and this lightning. This is harnessing the power of, like, there could be like, I don't know, like you could literally tap into like lightning energy or like ether energy and like use that to power stuff. There's going to be new power sources, I think, that come as a result of that, that it's not just like solar power, like wind or something. It's going to be like something in the air or like in the ether, or again, like that lightning that is harnessed or something like that. I don't know. This is like Nikola Tesla stuff that we're moving towards. It's going to be very innovative, very creative, very inventive. Sci-fi world on one hand, I think for sure is what is going to start becoming very apparent also as we move forward from this point now going forward. So we have super speed energy going on. There could be so much happening with the opposition between Mercury and Gemini. Of course, Mercury is this very busy energy, tons of communication, you know, emails, phone calls, conversations, seeing people, meeting people, like meetings, generally interactions, that type of stuff could just, it could be a real busy week. That's what I would expect here. And again, things happening fast. Things are definitely not like stalled out right now. We're not dealing with any lack of movement, I wouldn't think, in this energy. And again, it is very, very growth oriented. Big things happening, successful deals, good conversations, learning, also like mentors, guides could be prominent right now. Good advice, good fortune generally, getting some wins. There could be some success or some victory that is coming through, but lots of noise, motion, movement, and things happening generally. And I really appreciate the Mars positioning as well, this divine intervention. Mars trining the North Node that accompanies all of this. So this week is moving us forward somehow, you guys. Monday is likely to be a rather uplifting day itself, inspiring, perhaps motivating, and also maybe a bit more gentle and pleasant than some of the energy that we've been moving through. The moon in Cancer will come into an opposition with Venus in Capricorn as we begin our week. And the moon opposite Venus, this also kind of gives us a more amicable, just pleasant type of vibe going on. So people should be in a relatively good mood right now. I mean, with Mercury and Jupiter in opposition, this is lifting up our spirits and things are looking good. So I do think that generally people should be in a pretty good place and a pretty good mood. The opposition with the sun and Uranus, sudden exposure, this could bring sudden loss, sudden change, sudden upset, but we know that's what's happening. happening right now. This is it's out with the old, okay? There are going to be endings associated with this. There could be sudden loss associated with this, but because of the Jupiter Mercury, like, we're going to be able to see the blessings or some type of silver lining or something fortunate that is like interwoven in all of this. Uranus always brings a silver lining. Uranus always brings a blessing in disguise, but a lot of times we have to get down the road to be able to recognize that. With the mutual reception with Jupiter and Mercury, that's going to be more on the surface. It's going to be more apparent why XYZ difficult thing, upset, you know, rug pulled out from under us, lightning striking tower. Like, yeah, we may go through some shakeups, some upsets, some uncomfortable situations, but it's going to be much more clear to us because of this alignment why this is happening, what we're supposed to be learning from it, and what that lesson is like teaching us in the context of what we're supposed to do next. Like, there's going to be some powerful lesson associated with a lot that's playing out right now too, that we will actually be able to apply successfully to move ourselves forward somehow. Okay. So Tuesday, so that's Monday, all right? Tuesday, this is the day on the 19th when Pluto does enter the sign of Aquarius once and for all. As I said, back in January 20th, actually, we had Pluto enter Aquarius, made a video about that back then, and Pluto was in Aquarius through September. So we've had a taste of this energy, and there may have been some things that went on or around January 20th, last winter, or that period of time, you know, really kind of moving through September, where we thought things were moving in a certain direction, things seemed to be going in a certain way, we were focused on certain things, and then maybe something came in around August or September and sort of slammed brakes on things, like changed the game a little bit, made you maybe question if you were going to be able to proceed, what was going to be going on, like if things are truly as you thought they were, or if you need to, you know, maybe change course, alter course or something, maybe things got real difficult again, real intense, or you know, shift your focus in some way somehow. But I'm telling you guys, as of this week, if that like track that you were on, or whatever was you were involved with back then, or whatever was kind of opening up for you back then, was something that was like genuinely meant for you and aligned with you, you'll find that it starts to come back around at this point right now, or you find yourself like back in that same situation, or like re-engaged in whatever that was come this week, or like over this next couple of weeks. So we're being realigned with where we're supposed to be post whatever powerful, perhaps obstruction or limitation or restriction or lesson, karma, we had to go through. That's what this was, you guys. This past September through now, this was like the final karma associated with that entire 16-year period, like the final lessons, like whatever we may or may not have learned over that period of time, this past couple of months right here and what we've been moving through was giving us whatever it was that we needed in order to come to this point, to clear the slates right now, to be released from this like karmic cycle, whatever it was, or to be at a point where we are ready and prepared to move forward into this new energy. So really, it's all pretty clear, you guys. Really, things are, again, moving in the right direction, and it should start to feel like that as we begin moving through this period, this week and this period of time. So September until this week, you guys, has been incredibly intense, but this is when breakthroughs are truly going to start happening. Things are going to start opening up. Pressure is going to be released on some level. As I was mentioning earlier, we may feel as though some weight that we didn't even necessarily know we were carrying, or maybe we did, has been lifted from our shoulders, and the future is going to start looking much brighter this week, I think, because of that. If you have been waiting on the right moment to like take a leap of faith, change your life, change yourself somehow, this is that moment. It's like literally written in the stars. This is the week to take flight. Not only will you fly, I do believe that you will soar or begin a process that will have you soaring in a shorter period of time than you may have suspected. Now is the time for initiating change on your own terms. The whole phrase, you know, be the change you want to see in the world. This time right here, this time that we're moving into in this next 20-year period of time with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, this time is what that phrase was written for. So we should embrace that and act on it as we are going through this process, entering this period of self-knowledge, self-discipline, and self-actualization as kind of like an ultimate goal and outcome that is trying to actually align us with a much more fulfilling experience of life itself and everything that it has to offer as we move forward in this period of time. Also, power to the people, this decentralization of power, global revolution 2.0. I think that we're going to see this type of a thing in effect happening all over the world. There are going to be breakdowns in centralized power as people awaken, consciously like expand, figure some things out, take their power back, and begin being their own source of power in a way that we have been looking externally for that throughout, you know, the past several years, but farther beyond that, I think as well. So the decentralization of power and control, the age of knowledge and self-actualization, these are personal changes and awakenings that transform the overall collective. Through the shining of the individual light, the collective is illuminated now and going forward. There's no more all huddling together under somebody else's power, you guys. It's time to figure it out for ourselves and step into our own power. I mean, we've had Aries North Node. It's beautifully written. It's like choreographed perfectly that as this is happening, Mars is trining an Aries North Node as that transit itself, that year and a half transit of the North Node through Aries is concluding. I've been calling that our personal leadership era, like a time to step back into and redefine our own personal power and our own personal journey. Like Carpe Diem, seize the day, be like the creators of our own destiny at North Node in the sign of Aries. Corresponding perfectly, like in a trine to Mars, ruling that sign from the sign of Leo, the sign of the sun, the life force energy, rebirth, okay, like revitalizing ourselves, like personal, authentic, creative self-expression, the light inside brought outward in the mutual reception with the sun in Scorpio, undercover, like exposing and awakening to hidden truths, uncovering hidden truths, shining the light into the shadow, opposite Uranus, right? This awakening energy that is really shifting things for us. And again, putting us in this new place where power is seeking to come from within instead of demanding that it be received from without. Okay. So it's the time to rediscover your true self and your true purpose and allow universe to assist you in stepping into that role. That is ultimately what this is all about. Universe provides and guides. We are awakening and being encouraged to listen and respond right now. It's important as we move into this age of Aquarius that we learn to communicate with universe in the way that universe communicates with us. It's how universe communicates with you will not be the same as how universe communicates with me, and how universe communicates with that person over there will be different from that person over there. It's a unique aspect of the time that we're moving into right now is cultivating the language through which we communicate, or universe communicates with us, and listening to learn and respond to that. As we move forward into the age of Aquarius, this is an air age energy. It's all about knowledge and understanding and with Pluto there, what do you think's going to hold the power in the way that things come into fruition in our reality? Is it what we're physically doing and struggling with and like making and building with our hands? Or is it the mental force that like seeds that and allows that manifestation to structure and form itself in the physical reality? This is going to be a period of time and an era that is, again, transitioning into just the way that things are, moving into the foreseeable and unforeseeable future, where the power of our mind in the context of what is happening in the world around us is unmatched, in a way that we've ever like experienced before, or that we have a recollection or like a train or trail of information showing us how this is manifested and happened before. I mean, we could look back the last time that Pluto entered the sign of Aquarius and was at these degrees was mid-Revolutionary War in America. It was 1779. That was the last time that Pluto entered the sign of Aquarius. So we could look back and take sort of like a survey of things that were happening then and what was manifesting in the world then. But also at that point in time, a lot of these big ideas literally like that served as the constitution and the foundation for the way that the entire structure of the country, the United States, would be run over that period of time between then and now, this 250 years since the formation of the United States, when Pluto was at the last few degrees of the sign of Capricorn, preparing to enter the sign of Aquarius, which was decentralizing power, taking power out of the hands of the few and putting it in the hands of the many. That was the entire idea of the American Revolution. And as Pluto then proceeded to move into the sign of Aquarius, that is what happened. And the ideas that were present then, you know, the pen is mightier than the sword, and the ideas that happened and that were spread at that period of time literally were what this whole past history, at least of the United States. And we could, I guarantee you, I mean, I'm American, so I'm more familiar with United States history than the history of various other countries and what was going on there in 1776, 1775. But I promise, if you took that and applied the same template to any other place in the world, there were probably very similar situations and themes and revolutions and rebellions, and like that same revolutionary energy was probably kind of commonplace everywhere at that same specific period of time. But that is what happened, and it was these powerful ideas, as Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius, that laid the foundations for literally the way that the United States has unfolded between then and now, and the world as a result of that, because the United States played such a crucial role in the world. And then here we are again, back at this same Pluto placement, back at the same transitional process, back in the same energy of decentralizing the power that has been controlling everything, specifically over this past 20 or 16 years, while we've had the transit of Pluto through the sign of Capricorn going on. So you see what I mean? Like, so if you really want to know the trends that we are moving towards now, look back at that period of time, do some research about like the way that things played themselves out. It's hard because honestly, as we move into the age of Aquarius, our I think there's going to be some alterations in our understanding of history, of the way that things were written and recorded, and I think that we may see things a bit differently once we actually like learn some more stuff that's going to be uncovered moving forward, because this is not just a generation of Aquarius that we're moving into, but also a larger age of Aquarius. There are like hidden secrets and stuff that go way back that are going to be playing into the new understanding of things that come in now in a way that they weren't necessarily the last time that Pluto just moved into the sign of Aquarius, but we weren't as deep into or as close to this overall age of Aquarius coming in. So I don't know, like there could be some fundamental shifts happening in the way that we even look at the context of our recorded history because of what goes on now. So it's hard to say like anything is truly set in stone in terms of what we can look back on right now. But I do think that what we have probably serves as a pretty decent foundation for certain types of trends and themes and patterns that are likely to be recreating themselves right now and moving forward. Like what we're doing now and the new ways that things are forming themselves and the new foundations for things based in these revolutionary ideas that are coming to place right now are going to set the stage for how things unfold over the next 250 years. So that's it. We're there, you guys. And so, we need to, I guess what I'm trying to say also is have a greater respect for and be more conscious and aware of what we're thinking about and what we're doing with our ideas and how we're using our mind, because it truly is our most powerful asset in creating moving forward. And That's a lesson that we are going to be learning, I think, as we move forward in this period of time as well. So be mindful of that, you guys. Use your mind to create ideas and solutions. Do not focus on fears and problems. And that honestly should be easier going forward as well, because Saturn and Capricorn can narrow our focus on sort of the negative, on the pessimistic side of things, on what's not working, okay? So we can be a lot more sort of like fear oriented when we've got that going on, and we're not about to have that going on, so that should help to shift that too as well. On Monday, as we get this week started, we have the Earth at 29 degrees of Taurus, two cobblers working side by side at a table. We have Jupiter at 19 Gemini. Large archaic volume reveals a traditional wisdom, and we've got the North Node at 6 Aries, a square brightly lighted on one side. This is wisdom, solutions, and collaboration that leads to transformation and growth. The symbols are telling us about it as well. And we are heading, yet again, I will say, you guys, we are heading in the right direction. So that's that. Let's get into the tarot message for a minute now. This is, again, another thing that we have coming out telling us that there is a karmic smackdown that is underway right now, and things that have been unjust, I think that we'll put it that way, unfair, anywhere where power has been being stolen, or where things just have not been being done in, you know, honor and integrity and accountability and authenticity and in like an upright manner. There is some type of like divine intervention or cosmic sword of justice that is being swung. We had the Justice card come out first, and we've got the Seven of Swords on the back of the deck. The Seven of Swords classically is a card about like getting away with things, like shady behavior, like stealing power, not being honest, like dishonesty and mental manipulation, because there is a level of dishonesty here. This is and then we've got the Justice card, which is also holding the sword right here, and we've got, you know, balancing going on. And so, as I was saying in my last video about that full moon that we had, a conjunct Uranus, which leading right into this energy now was priming and setting the stage for everything I'm talking about currently today in this video. Saturn stationed direct in alignment with that. And I said, you know, law and order, laying the smack down, justice coming. That is kind of the vibe that I feel like Saturn stationing direct in alignment with this Uranus energy, and Pluto at the last degree of Capricorn ruled by Saturn. Like, there could have been quite a ferocious push and pull tug of war that kind of happened in that full moon energy, as there was this smackdown energy, but there's also this intense like rule breaking, like not if I have anything to do with it, like I don't need to listen to you type of energy going on as well. I don't know, that could have been playing out a lot of different ways, but issues to do with authority, rules, limitations, control, law and order, justice, and also things that have been out of bounds, out of control, or like rebellion, revolution, that type of thing, and also the past and the future. And this Justice card, this has a lot to do with karma as well. So again, karmic reckoning coming through in this tarot reading. And then we also have the Six of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. Whatever this is, whatever this karmic reckoning or this karmic release or reweighing of the scales, reciprocity, like justice, law and order, the other side of this message is it's like a restored sense of innocence and an ability to like look positively forward to something, like see the potential, see the opportunity, feel it's sort of like this childlike wonder being restored, and maybe the ability to have something that we really want, to find emotional fulfillment, to find the sense of internal balance, and also like emotional maturity that helps us to like come into our own and feel like we are in alignment with our purpose and be in a place where we can create and birth and like develop our potential from a more internally secure place. So there's like, it's like on one hand, the sense of like innocence restored in the context of being able to fulfill a like authentic purpose, nurture, grow. We've also got the Cancer moon going on, which makes me think of the Queen of Cups, this emotionally sensitive energy that wants to like mother or birth the new creations that we are, or like to help us restore. It could be like the inner child as well, like a restored sanctity of the inner child in a way that helps us to actually nurture ourselves on the proper trajectory of growth going forward along the lines of this rebirth. But on the flip side of that, there is some type of like karmic reckoning, karmic balancing, like law and order, the sword of justice that is being described as well. So we've got those dynamics going on, and that could somehow be involved in whatever you personally find yourself having going on this week. I'm going to get one more card now. This is a synchronicity card. God, Spirit, Universe. What is one piece of guidance or advice that we could use as we move through this week and begin to encounter and navigate these new energies, which, as I said, we have had a taste of this. We have had a bit of this energy this past winter, but we're formally going into it now. Guess what it says? Great blessings. So Jupiter, you know, in the Jupiter-Mercury situation, like I said, Jupiter represents our blessings, great blessings. And it's just all there. Everything is all there right now. The setup is all there for things to finally start working for us, okay, instead of maybe working against us, which is, though, that is kind of the tendency with Pluto Capricorn. If you are not in the system, a cog in the wheel, a part of the machine, following the rule book like to a T, it's hard to get ahead and to generate success. But that's not where we're going anyways. Great blessings. Okay. For whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved, Romans 10:13. Nothing is more powerful than God. Contact God quietly with faith and confidence, and know God is opening a path and solving your problem. With God, nothing is impossible, and great blessings will be yours. And that is I feel like that's pretty much the whole story that the charts for today and tomorrow, the astrology, the energy is telling us as well. So great blessings, you guys. No fear. Things are going to sort themselves out, and it's going to be in a way that we couldn't have ever planned or predicted or imagined, but makes a lot of sense, and we wouldn't take back if we had the chance. So we're headed in the right direction, you guys. All signs pointing to on the road to good things, and that's what I'm going to say for today. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think that they would also enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. I truly, you know, I appreciate your feedback, what you guys have to say, your contributions to my channel. If you are having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. That is valuable information to me. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook page where I post images of those boards linked in my description box below. That's where you'll find that. And come back with me on Wednesday, you guys. We've got the sun entering Sagittarius this week. We've got more energetic shifts going on, sun entering Sag. I'll be back to talk about it. And of course, more Pluto and Aquarius energy. You don't want to miss it. I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful start to your week. And until then, bye.